See that? Oh, yeah, I'm not gonna trip. So what I'm telling them, man, I'm getting ready for that MMA, baby.
Cocky jocks, convinced that they can do whatever they want, often have no qualms about mocking weaker folks. And usually, no one dares to answer these monsters.
Oh my God!
What are you gonna do, huh?
But sometimes, these clumps of arrogance get a brutal dose of karma. Sit back and enjoy watching these pumped-up bullies get exactly what they deserve. This is KARMALAND. Here we go. This pumped-up beast thought he could take on an arm wrestling legend. The great Devin Lorat tried hard not to fall for the dumb jock's provocations. But the bodybuilder wouldn't stop shamelessly humiliating the veteran in front of the fans. The strongman was so sure his muscles would crush Lorat that before the event even started, he attempted to scare him off. Yet once the bout began, the so-called musclehead turned out to be nothing more than a screeching little girl. Shifting a pro's arm was harder than moving a mountain. Devin Lorat toyed with him like a child, before effortlessly reducing the arrogant bodybuilder to a humbled state for good. Check out this cocky musclehead.
Oh my God!
It all started the day before when this dumb jock stormed into a jiu-jitsu gym and attacked the first person he saw. He didn't know that his target was a coach who promptly mauled him like a ragdoll, delivering a couple of fatherly slaps in the process. The coach proved that bulging muscles are nothing compared to years of finely honed technique.
Who's the master? You are. Yeah, say it. Say it loud.
After that, the loser was kicked out in disgrace. But the scumbag returned the next day, pretending he wanted to apologize. That handshake turned out to be a Trojan horse, masking a true rat act.
Oh my God!
Then the coach put that overconfident fool through a hellish torture session to re-educate him. Not satisfied with that, the jerk decided to pick an even weaker opponent. But a fragile girl then put that hulking musclehead down like a wild child, punishing the cat even faster than her coach. When the giant came to, he lunged at the person who had helped him, hoping to take down at least someone, only to be humiliated and punished once again, finally realizing his own insignificance. And then there's this steroid-fueled beast who believed his bulging muscles and tattooed, mutilated body made him invincible. Zdravko Tarnagiev is pure arrogance in human form. This insolent bodybuilder strutted into the fight with unbridled confidence and high-handedness, in stark contrast to his very reserved professional opponent. On top of that, he, like a sneaky rat, grabbed his opponent by the throat, publicly humiliating the modest fighter. He entered the bout as if it were an easy walk. That cocky grin never left the face of this tattoo master's draft, even in the cage. However, once the fight started, his opponent found it easier to beat him than to hit a punching bag, and karma made sure that the arrogant prick paid a brutal price. Next up, we have a Russian strongman, one of the leading powerhouses in Russia. Mikhail Koklyaev, after shattering countless strength records, decided he could conquer the MMA world.
Высокий профессионализм демонстрирует нам Кокляев.
To prove it, he challenged the fighting legend Alexander Emelianenko, the younger brother of Fedor. Before the fight, the cocky bodybuilder even dared to provoke the pro fighter. But when the bout began, his confidence quickly vanished. The bell rang, and for a while, thanks to his sheer size, the strongman managed to hold his own. But as soon as the pros started fighting with full force, that pile of muscles quickly turned into a pile of crap.
Смотрите, вот теперь Кокляев совершенно забыл те уроки, которые все
Next, this overconfident guy strutted into the boxing gym and challenged the very best, thinking he'd crush his opponent with ease. But once the musclehead stepped into the ring, a seasoned professional boxer turned his challenge into a brutal torture session. All those muscles he'd built over his life proved utterly useless, as he was completely demolished. Then, a gigantic bodybuilder decided to test his strength against UFC legend Dustin Poirier.
Ready to go? Let's get it done.
At first, the strongman flaunted his size, mocking the much smaller Poirier. They even dabbled in what was supposed to be a friendly spar, but for the bodybuilder, Dustin was like a fly to an elephant. This bout was scarier for Poirier than even a fight with Khabib, because it's no easy feat to hold down a gorilla. However, the bodybuilder's stamina soon ran out, and Dustin quickly took advantage of it. He executed an armbar on the massive bodybuilder, proving that you can't underestimate a UFC champion. Finally, this Russian bodybuilder decided to assert himself by choosing a guy who weighed much less as his opponent. However, the pro was determined to show that technique beats brute strength. At the start, the overconfident jock dominated with his sheer size, making his opponent look like a helpless child rather than a fighter. But as soon as the professional unleashed his full power, the musclehead got hit with a brutal barrage, turning that massive build into a heap of garbage, and soon sending him to work on his most important muscle, his brain.
Next up in this battle of youth versus vast experience was the fight between future UFC champion Andrei Arlovski, nicknamed Pitbull, and 16-year-old debutant Vyacheslav Datsik. At that time, Arlovski was already considered a very dangerous fighter, making the challenge for Datsik nearly impossible.
Giving his other opponent the game plan.
When the fight began, the colossal gap in experience was clear for everyone to see, and Pitbull delivered a total execution on his inexperienced opponent.
Wow! They're slugging it out of here. Things seem to have gotten personal. And a big kick by Arlovski.
The entire first round, Pitbull tormented his victim, completely dominating the fight. Datsik looked more like a giant punching bag than a worthy opponent.
Yeah, it looks like it because he's in the... Whoa, look at him.
But just moments later, the debutante unexpectedly sent Arlovski into the realm of Morpheus.
Hear the audience. Whoa! He gets up from this.
And the guy went down. And look, he's still down.
He's going to be a hard guy to beat.
This cocky, tattooed musclehead, Martin Soltysik, stepped into the ring to fight the young protege of the legendary Fedor Emelianenko, Kirill Sidelnikov. But when the fight began, Soltysik revealed his true rat nature and shamelessly landed a dirty shot on his young opponent.
Heavyweights, but you already figured that out.
Taking advantage of the kid's shock, the steroid-fueled scumbag started pummeling Sidelnikov like he was a can of protein powder, as if they were duking it out in a phone booth.
Big man at 229 pounds, and he looks very smooth. He's avoiding the big strikes. Huge right, like a fireball.
But after regaining his composure, Sidelnikov, filled with a desire for revenge, decided to carry out an operation to remove the scoundrel's rat-like nature with his fists.
No kicks. A little bit of that pride getting this. Belichick's throwing a lot of right hands, so. Whoa.
And next, Sidelnikov realized that it was time to finish this old rat. In the end, the young fighter punished the filthy brute and proved that youth is no handicap in MMA. This schoolboy's name is Evgeny Kolesnikov. He is only 17 years old, and he has already made his debut at a professional level. One of his first opponents was a 26-year-old fighter named Abubakar Mammadov. Therefore, all the spectators thought that Mammadov would easily smash the rookie. Their fight began, and the seasoned fighter immediately started demonstrating his experience, landing powerful blows to the schoolboy's chin.
Ой, хорошо. Мне кажется, Колесник, что да, вот это попадание, которое... Ой, хорошо.
And apparently believing that the youngster wouldn't be able to seize the upper hand, Mammadov began to mockingly provoke Kolesnikov.
Что у Абубакара Добряка есть плотный удар.
Удар поплотнее.
But Kolesnikov wasn't about to tolerate that, and he decided to prove that schoolboys are worth something too, so he began adjusting the cocky fighter's beard with his sharp fists.
Видно, что у Абубакара Добряка есть перестроить то, что надо забирать очки.
Да, иногда бывает такое, что ты понимаешь, что ты сильнее, хорошо попал.
However, even that didn't make Mammadov any humbler as he continued his parade of mockery. And considering it the last straw, Kolesnikov decided to demonstrate the law of strength with his fists.
Минус большой, что он очень эмоциональный, его можно легко вывести, и за счет этого быть
Угол должен подсказывать, что попал, да?
Не то, что
плотное попадание, которое мы видели, когда он немножко завалился.
In the end, the schoolboy won by unanimous decision and forever humbled the more experienced Mammadov. In 2014, a 17-year-old named Tenshin Nasukawa made his professional debut, and he'd eventually become a global superstar. Back then, the unknown school kid faced Tomo Arimatsu, who was 9 years his senior. When the fight began, Nasukawa immediately started pulverizing Tomo with a ballet-like grace. Never one to waste time, the young prodigy didn't linger in the clinch and soon delivered his most savage high kick yet. The next fight took place in Russia, where this MMA fighter decided to challenge a teenager to a brutal showdown, thinking that he would easily defeat him. And when their fight began, the more experienced fighter immediately started aggressively attacking his young opponent as if he were a bottle of vodka. However, the rookie immediately began using his hands to prove that he shouldn't be underestimated because of his young age. In the end, the kid won and proved that he shouldn't be underestimated just because he can't buy beer at the supermarket. This young TikToker's name is Danya Malokin, and he decided to make his debut in the ring to gather not only thousands of likes, but also thousands of spectators in the arena. And his first opponent was the more experienced Ajmal Khan. Their fight began, and Khan's face seemed to turn into a lightning rod for the fists of young Malokin.
Going downstairs, stabbing to the body. Big right hand from Danya, sat down on that one.
Time and time again, the TikToker proved that he could not only collect millions of likes, but also deliver fierce combos.
Danya, Khan with a decent right cross, overhand right to left hook to uppercut.
And just moments later, the kid unleashed a machine gun barrage on the older Khan, forcing the ref to stop this beating of a pensioner.
Winds up the right hand to left hook. Khan gets clobbered again. It's good night, Irene.
In the end, Malokin won and showed what TikTokers are capable of. Malokin has also challenged Sigma. Leave your predictions for the outcome of the match in the comments.
Hafthor Björnsson became famous for his unimaginable strength and the physique of an ancient Greek god. Apparently, along with his immense strength, he had gained immense self-confidence.
Don't fucking mess with me.
He had the audacity to disrespect none other than Conor McGregor himself.
I seen you work a little bit with McGregor.
McGregor?
Yeah.
There was a time where I had to grab with him, where I felt like I can crush this guy.
However, by challenging UFC fighter Gunnar Nelson, the jock had no idea he was signing his own death warrant. The moment the fight began, the jiu-jitsu black belt wasted no time showing the steroid idiot the full range of his techniques. He coiled his limb around him like an anaconda, almost ripping the giant's arm clean off. In the end, the pro fighter brutally punished the bodybuilder, showing him that muscles don't matter in a real fight. This chemically enhanced bubble named Bob Sapp not only had a reputation as a dirty rat, but even dared to challenge the great Mike Tyson.
Hey, they may call you Kid Dynamite. You mess with me, I'll put your fuse out.
With every opponent weighing less than his steroid-pumped ass, it's no wonder his ego skyrocketed after each easy win. This time, Sapp was up against a real-life Chinese panda in human form, a fighter named Aerogili. The cocky jock clearly underestimated the heavyset fighter, and before the fight even started, he arrogantly threatened the Celestial Warrior, even attacking him in his overconfidence.
Versus Aorigala, Changsha, China, Road FC 32, July 2nd. Victory never tasted so sweet.
Once the referees started the fight, it was clear the chubby fighter saw the jock as nothing but a quick snack. Next, Aorigala, with fists as sharp as Chinese chopsticks, began teaching the arrogant rat some manners. In the end, Aorigala found the giant's off button right on his face, delivering a brutal punishment. Mariusz Pudzianowski, a name that still echoes as one of the most famous strongmen in the world. After conquering 5 titles as the world's strongest man, the cocky Pudzianowski decided to kick down the door and step into the world of combat sports. By throwing down the gauntlet to the kickboxing legend, none other than Peter Graham. Pudzianowski had only sealed his own fate. Barely a second had passed after the bell, and the fighters, like wild dogs, charged at each other with ferocity. For a brief moment, it looked like Pudzianowski was treating Peter like an additional protein snack in his diet. Once back on his feet, Graham dove in like a hawk. Eventually, he sent the jock to the Phantom Zone, showing once again that in a fight, it's skill, not strength, that truly counts. This Russian bodybuilder, Mikhail Sidorichev, tipping the scales at 150 kilograms, had the audacity to challenge a schoolboy named Kanamir. Underestimating the young boy, Mikhail arrogantly started taunting him, thinking he could get away with it. Their fight resembled a duel between a grandfather and his grandson. As soon as the bell rang, it was clear to everyone that Kanamir wasn't just aiming for victory. He wanted to rip the arrogant scumbag's hand off. In the end, he gave the cocky giant a brutal lesson, leaving him forever humbled. Remember that clown who got a brutal lesson from the jiu-jitsu master? Clearly, he never learns from his mistakes. This time, the overconfident fool walked into the boxing gym, and that turned out to be his fatal mistake. Right from the start, his opponent wasted no time, using his fists to deliver a harsh lesson to the idiot. He ended up brutally punishing the cocky fool, giving him a lesson he'd never forget. This dumb bodybuilder's ego had climbed all the way to the top of Mount Olympus. Clearly, the bodybuilder's brain, flooded with chemicals, couldn't think straight.
Try MMA, the ultimate weapon, capable of killing any man? Yeah, they would never allow me into the ring.
With all his arrogance, he fearlessly challenged UFC fighter Stephen Wonderboy Thompson.
Seth over there. I wanted him over there.
He didn't even shake his hand, which turned out to be a fatal mistake for the idiot.
Best of luck to you. Hey, you too.
Hey, you too.
Right away, Wonderboy began teaching the bodybuilder the true wonders of martial arts. He brutally punished the arrogant rascal, shutting his filthy mouth for good.
That's what I'm telling them, man. I'm getting ready for that MMA, baby.
In this video, we've highlighted the best moments where clueless bodybuilders paid the price for underestimating MMA fighters. Hit that like button and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. KARMALAND was with you. See you again.